Hi everybody, it's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch Sustainable Living Education Center in far west Texas, minus Cascade the Wonder Dog, who's eating some 4-year-old soup I found in the back of the freezer, and he thought that was far more important than helping me do this video. So, I'm flying solo. We're going to talk today about the barrel system for your sediment and your transitional nutrients for an aquaponics and also a hydroponic system. It's behind me. It's working. We're going to show you how to put that together step by step. It's going to be a little bit longer video. It's also going to be a little fragmented because I've been shooting this over the last 10 days or so. Burned my arm quite badly, so I've done the best I can on editing. Please bear with me. Anyway, what we have here, if you've studied anything about aquaponics, and I hope you have, because if you've come here looking to me to be an expert source, don't. I'm a guy like you that's trying to figure out how to do it. This is the way I did it based on everything that I looked at, all my research. Hopefully you're going to research everything your own way, including looking at my videos, and then come to the conclusion that works best for you. That's what I do. That's what we all should do. What we have here is fairly, generic. A sediment filter and a sediment tank, and a tank full of media, the media that houses the bacteria that does that magic of changing nitrites into nitrates, I believe. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. The two of these. Where we differ a little bit is in the execution that I did because we live off-grid. But we're going to get into that. Let's build the system first, and at the very end I'll show you how the system works. But there it is. Let's build it. Well, we're back to where you can hear the chickens, but it's also where my workstation is. So talking about media, and this is one of the, every part of aquaponics is critical. Every part of it. There is no one part that's critical. So without media, you really don't have a vital leg of the aquaponics system. Now again, remember what I've been saying throughout this whole series. I'm developing this myself for the first time. I'm not an aquaponics expert. If you're looking for an expert, please go somewhere else. But watch me just to see how I did it, to see if maybe you can adapt. So as we're talking about media, I found media for sale, and all I remember now, because it's been a year and a half, it was quite expensive for a bag of media. Now, you only have to fill like a 55, 60-gallon drum with media, but I mean, if you're paying $80 for a bag of media, number one, you're shipping it to yourself. Number two, it's packaged in a cardboard and in plastic. And number three, somebody made the dyes, the tools, and got the fossil fuel, the oil, out of the ground to specially make media for you. What if you could make your own media out of scrap and garbage that you were going to have anyway? So that's what I'm showing you right here with my media. Now what I've done over the, and many of you won't have the ability to do this, but what I've done over the years that we've been here, now it's 9 and counting right now, I've saved every piece of thick plastic, PVC pipe, and PEX, used PEX. Believe it or not, you end up with a lot of used PEX when you're not 100% sure what you're doing and your ideas grow and then shrink. So I have a lot of PEX that I used, stretched, didn't feel like trusting it to go in the walls, and also I had some that was exposed to UV light that I didn't know shouldn't be exposed, so of course you can't trust that. So I saved all that PEX. So what I do, this is why I'm here at the chop saw, I take these pieces of junk pieces of PVC. Now you can see here was a 1.5 inch piece of pipe that I had connected to something else that I cut off. Piece of junk. But if I take it and cut it into little slivers, like this, look at all the area on these little slivers that bacteria can get into and cling to, and it's that bacteria that goes ahead and makes your transforms the nitrites into nitrates. Now correct me if I'm wrong on that. So I'll just show you real quick what I've done, and the reason I want to show you is I want you folks to be careful. If you've ever used a chop saw with PVC or PEX, used it improperly, which is what I'm going to do here, you have to be very careful. Now, first of all, I'm putting gloves on. That's kind of a no-no with power tools, but in this case, if it snaps on me, hopefully you won't see it snap, but if it does snap, it just protects my fingers a little bit. So first, let's take this piece here, and we're going to try to cut it into slivers. Now, I'm only going to go as far as I'm comfortable pushing it this way, and if as far as you're comfortable with is that far, that's fine, because there's still surface area for bacteria. So let's just cut a couple. What I've noticed is it will snap if I let a piece get behind the blade like that. That was a snap right there. Now that would be about as far as most people would be comfortable with, because I can get it on both, because I can bridge the piece. I'm going to put it here, but it'll probably snap. And that's what I wanted you to see, because if somebody didn't show you the improper way of doing stuff sometimes, all you know is, well, you could drive a nail through your hand. Not that I'm going to drive a nail through my hand to show you. So if you're careful, you can go ahead and cut them. I'm not cutting any closer than that because I've been snapped. PVC is the thing, excuse me, PEX, is the thing that'll want to snap. It really needs to be tight here. And if you keep it tight, it should cut. But if you get lazy, it snaps on you. So you just have to be careful. Now the alternative, of course, to PEX is just have something that'll cut it. Let's just cut this piece down. That's as close as I'm going to get. I know some people, I'm going to have the comments from the guy in the basement, in his mother's basement, eating a ham sandwich. It's going to tell me how dangerous it is. Well, yeah, I'm glad you understand it might be dangerous, but you really need to know a little bit more, and you can't learn that eating a ham sandwich in Mama's basement. So, you know, you guys that don't have the experience but just are parroting, don't. Okay, so we got that. And what I'm going to do, or what I have done, is cut up. I've got about half a barrel full. I'm going to go over and show you the barrel right now. I have a whole bunch of other stuff. Now this looks horrible, but remember, the 3 R's of of sustainable living, which are reuse, repurpose, recycle. So I actually repurposed and reused pieces of PVC. Again, they're going to go in here like this. And they're going to make me media. Now, how much did the media cost me? Well, didn't cost me anything, because these things were destined to be thrown away anyway. You can't burn it, so it's got to bury it. So didn't cost me anything. Save that money on the big bag of media. 2 big bags of media in a 60-gallon drum. If I remember right, they were like $85 each, so that's 170 bucks I'm saving. Now then, what I'm also doing, when I cut up the PEX, I cut up the PEX as thin as I can, and it wants to snap. But I get these pieces like this, and again, inside, outside, on the edges, plenty of room for bacteria to cling to and do its job. Now when I get these fittings like this, those will snap in a heartbeat on the chop saw. Now the PVC, you can't really break the PVC, the pipe, but you can break the fitting itself. I'm not hitting it hard, because if I hit it hard, then it flies all over like that. Again, I've got plenty of spots there for bacteria to cling to. Got a 55 or a 60-gallon drum to fill up anyway, so let me show you what I'm ending up with in the barrel. Now again, reuse, repurpose, recycle. This barrel, I think the guy that gave it to me was going to use it for a septic system. He never actually put any nasty stuff in it. And whatever he did, he cracked the top along here, so you really it wouldn't hold anything because it would leak. But it holds water. You can fill it completely with water. It just, you know, if you tip it, the water would come out. So what I've done here, very simply, you can see, is put my outlet here. This will be the inlet, and I've cut the top Actually, this is where the other fitting was and also where it was cracked. I cut that out so that I have access to the media. Now what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to put a piece of screening over just in case it fills up and the media wants to float out. And I'll just screw that in. So, inlet, outlet. Then down here, and this is critical in my opinion, down here, you can see in the very bottom, I don't have a third hand so I can't touch it, I've got a 1-inch piece of pipe threaded through a hole there. Now what that is for any sediment. Any sediment at all that gets in here and settles, it'll start filling up the bottom. Well, periodically, if I open up the valve, and you'll see further on in this series, I'll open up the valve, I'll drain the sediment out. Sediment, of course, is going to be good fertilizer for the plants that are growing in soil, so we'll just put that on the soil, and that'll be fine. You do have to remember, always keep thinking, am I going to get a sediment buildup of any sort anywhere? And if you are, put a sediment removal system in. Now, down in here where I can't reach, I've got all those little pieces of PEX and PVC pipe and also plastic. I've had a number of these 5-gallon plastic buckets that have just come apart on here. I've just worn them out, and I've repurposed some parts of it. You can see I cut the top off of this one, and I've repurposed parts of it. Well, all I'm going to do is just take the plastic off of the handle off and cut it into 8 or 9 pieces on the table saw. Throw them in here too. It's more surface area. And by the way, I haven't bought any of these 5-gallon buckets. I don't think I bought any since we've lived here. Being so close to the oil field with the Permian Basin, Midland, Odessa, and that, whenever I have to drive up that way, I'm driving along roads that the oil field workers are working on. They're all in a hurry going 90, 95 miles an hour. They throw the empty buckets in the back of the truck, and at 90 miles an hour they blow out. I pick them up. They're free. I haven't paid for one of these for years. If I need one with a lid like I do right now for my maggot traps, I find it. And again, free, completely free, and I'm taking waste out of the waste stream. So anyway, that's discussing the media. I'll be back a little bit. Well, we're on to the second barrel now. Now, first barrel was one that I said was recycled. I looked everywhere and couldn't find any of these blue barrels. Now, and I wanted one of these blue barrels, so I had to buy it. It wasn't too expensive, but I had to buy the thing anyway. We've got, they've got the 2 bungs in them, one of which is coarse thread. This one here I can't get out. I've got a bung remover, but I don't know where it is. But one side of these barrels is always coarse thread like this. The other side is NPT thread, I believe, the fine thread. So we take this off, and it's a fine thread, or the NPT thread, as opposed to the coarse thread. Now, why they do this, I don't know, and if somebody truly does know, let me know. But your typical PVC 2-inch fitting will just screw right into this hole here, no problem. This one, you can kind of redneck rig it in with Teflon tape or whatever, but the best thing to do is to get a fitting to go from coarse thread to NPT. There's only one company that I found that makes it. It's called US Plastics, and they're like $7.50 each fitting. Shipping is kind of a blanket $15. So if you order 3, it's 15 bucks. If you order 1, it's 15 bucks. So we're waiting on, I ordered 2 of these. One's going to be a spare because I just need one for this side. But it'll take the coarse thread to the NPT. And what that will do is when the water actually comes in here and swirls around in here, it fills the barrel, and then there'll be pressure in the barrel so that it's coming in here, coming out here. The sediment will settle to the bottom, the pressure forces it out this way. Hopefully we'll get a lot of the sediment out of this one. If not, it'll come out of the other one. So what we have to do right now is just to keep the barrel clean. We'll set these back in. But we have to turn it upside down, drill a hole in the bottom, a 1-inch hole. Now, when you've got a brand new barrel like I do, that's always a scary thing because you don't want to ruin your barrel. your correct diameter, whether you're using a paddle or a hole cut. All right, so here we go. Now this is going to have to be, because there's a thick seam here, this is going to have to be slightly off center. Now, all by making it slightly off center, all that's going to do is the barrel's not going to sit exactly on that center seam I put. Very, very important, because we are going to be threading this, self-threading it into the barrel. You want to be sure you get one shot at this and one shot only. Be sure and keep it straight. Thread it in a little ways, and then take it out. And the most important step that I've found in putting all these holes and fittings in the bottom of these is to be sure that you put a lot of Teflon tape on. Now guys, in all honesty, Teflon tape is one of those things that you simply can't live without around your house. If you have one, great. Put it on your shopping list to go buy another one. They're 99 cents most of the time. And every time you use one, buy another one, because you never know when you need it. And the problem is, when you need it desperately. So now, we're just going to put this in. I'm not sure you need to put it all the way in, however, that ensures that that Teflon tape is making a nice secure bond. So there we go. That's ready to install. And I'm going to go install that, get a couple more things ready, and I'll show you that. Okay, I hope that's clear as mud to you now on how I built my system. This is the way that I've seen everybody do it. So it should work just fine. We're going to go to the beginning, to the pump, and I'll walk you through this all the way to back into the tank. We don't have our fish yet. We're going to get the fish shortly. But we are, unfortunately, you can't stop the clock. It's like you walk into a place sometime after Thanksgiving, you walk into a place to do some shopping and you're waiting in line and you say something to the manager, oh, well, it's a holiday season. Yeah, like it snuck up on you, you idiot, it snuck up on you. It doesn't happen every year at the same time so you could hire extra help. Oh, no, it just snuck up on you. Well, summer and spring didn't sneak up on me. I had too much to do. So what we have to do is we have to get the gardens in and working, the water garden working, the lotus garden working now. Finish the greenhouse, bring in the fish, do the flood beds later. Let me show you how I've done it. So I've covered this before in other videos. This is a 900-gallon tank buried in the ground. This is where the fish will go. We're going to start with tilapia. If for some reason tilapia don't work for us, we'll go on to other fish, even koi, just something to give us, to give us the fertilizer that we need for the plants. There is an underground pipe in the bottom of that tank that comes into this blue tank. That's where you see all that the water pouring in through that pipe into a 3/4 horsepower filter, pump rather. The pump pumps it up 10 feet in the air, runs it along here to the blue barrel. Now let's go over to the blue barrel. Comes into the blue barrel and out of the blue barrel. Now the blue barrel has some pressure in it, so it was very important that I have those proper fittings that completely sealed the blue barrel so it could hold that pressure and I didn't have a leak or just no pressure, because it had to rise back up out of the tank, out of the barrel, into the black barrel. In the bottom, of course, is my sediment drain. Down here, I could not put a sediment drain in the black barrel. I just simply couldn't stop the leaking and decided it wasn't very important. The media comes up to, the media is completely full to that fitting there. That fitting there, then the water comes out of that. There's a screen on it so media doesn't slip into the pipe. Pipe comes down, and at the moment it runs over to the water garden. You can see it bubbling into the water garden and aerating. Right now, that's all the aeration we need. But again, when we get, we've got the bullfrog tadpoles in there. When we get the tilapia, it'll be a different story. We'll have to have an air pump working. Goes down that little creek and back into the 900-gallon tank. There is a drop in the 900-gallon tank. Right now it's full, so it's only a 3 or 4 inch drop. I'll let that go down about 200 gallons just for more aeration before I fill it back up. I know the wind is blowing, so I apologize for that on this segment, but I can't control the West Texas wind. I did want to make a comment about the any time that you're putting something in a new hole that you've drilled in a barrel, whether it be in the bottom or in the end here, don't do as I did, because I'm having trouble with this one leaking. There is a small leak there. I'm going to dry it out, just spray it with Flex Seal, which works, by the way. That guy might be obnoxious, but Flex Seal works. Spray it with Flex Seal, no more leak, because there is no pressure on this pipe. But if you're going to do that, like I've done here, get yourself the bulkhead fittings with the rubber washers on it, proper bulkhead fitting. Save you the headache that I have here, because now I got to spend an extra, I think, $20 or whatever Flex Seal costs to get the Flex Seal to correct what I should have done correctly in the first place. But other than that, it's working fine. That leak, I mean, the leak might be 3 cups of water a day. It's not much, but I don't like a leak, especially out here in the desert, where if it doesn't rain, I got to haul the water in. So anyway, that's how the system's going to work. The flood beds go right here. We're not going to build the flood beds quite yet. We're going to get the roof across. This summer, just what I have in the garden is what we're going to have. But I guarantee you, come fall, flood beds will be in, and we'll be growing produce that we can sell in the area. And as usual, always welcome all of your comments. I read the comments. However, I do want to make a comment about comments. Comment. There's a lot of people, and I see it whenever I go on YouTube, there's a lot of people that say to someone who's presenting what they've done, well, I would have done it this way. Next time, do it that way. Why didn't you do this? Always got some kind of a suggestion. I get it. Everybody gets it. Hey, love to get a comment like that, but what you need to do with my channel, you need to accompany it with your YouTube video link to how you did it, the way you did it. Because I want to see how you did it. I don't want to hear, why didn't you do it this way? Because, hey, that's just conversation unless you show me a video. You might be some guy sitting in his mother's basement eating a ham sandwich. I don't need that advice. I need advice from a guy who's experienced and knows. So if you're going to make a comment like that, why didn't you do it this way? I would do it this way. Next time, do it that way. Send me a link to your video on how you did it. I'll post that. You'll get more views. Everybody will be happy. This video. So until next time, guys, hey, it's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch Sustainable Living Education Center in far West Texas, saying see you later.